Hi guys, I'm sure that each and every one of us at least once been invited to a birthday party. And we've just been going crazy searching for that perfect gift for a family member or a friend. The tutorial I'm going to give you will show you a way of creating an awesome gift yourself by taking some of your photography and adding a professional look to it by applying the curl page effect in Photoshop CS6. Just like I did on this collage right here that I created just a few weeks back for my cousin's birthday. In order to do that, we're going to have to open the picture that you're going to use in Photoshop and unlock the background layer. To do that, simply double-click on the padlock icon besides your photo thumbnail in the Layers palette. Then, since we're going to be blending and wrapping our image, we need to get ourselves a little extra room to work with, which means we need to add some extra canvas space around the image. To do that, go up to the Image menu at the top of the screen and choose Canvas Size, just like showing on this picture right here. This will bring up the Canvas Size dialog box. You will need to enter 150 for the width and height and change the measurement type for both to %. Make sure the relative option is not checked and that the middle square is selected in the anchor grid. Then click on Layer 0 in the Layers palette to select the layer that contains the original image. Let's add a white photo border around the edge of the image. To do that, go up to the Edit menu at the top of the screen and choose Stroke, just like showing on this picture. I'm going to enter a value of 20 pixels for my width, which works well with the image I'm using here, although you may need to enter a different value depending on the size of the image you're using. Then set the Location option in the middle of the dialog box to Inside, so the stroke appears inside the edge of the image instead of outside. Then, depending from what you're looking from your picture to look like, I'll give you two different options. If you want your curl to stay exactly the same color that the rest of the picture, just skip this step and move to the next one. Although if you want your curl to be a different color, you need to select the Rectangle Marquee tool, which the shortcut for is M, and it's going to look just like that, and select the rectangle area in the corner that you want to apply the effect to, just like I did here on the bottom left. Then, depending from the color you want, which I chose to be black and white, I use the Gradient tool and draw a line from the top right to the bottom left to get that lighter and darker effect. Although you would choose any color you're searching for, it doesn't have to be black and white. Then you would need to deselect the selection you just made, which the shortcut for is Ctrl-D, and go to Edit, Transform, Warp, just like showing on this picture right here, and then drag the bottom left point towards the center to get that curl effect. Then you would click back on Layer 0 in the Layers palette to select it and press the letter D on your keyboard to set black as your foreground color. Then click back on Layer 0 and use the shortcut Shift Option Delete to fill the image of the layer with black. You won't see anything happen to the document that you clicked on right now just because Layer 0 is blocking you from seeing that any changes have been done to it. But if you look at the thumbnail at Layer 0, you will see that actually was filled with black. Then we're going to use the Warp tool once again, and as you remember, it's Edit, Transform, Warp, but this time to create a drop shadow effect for our image using the area we just filled with black. Then we'll need to add a blur and blur the edges of our shadow a little for them to not stand out too much. So go up to the Filter menu at the top of the screen and choose Blur, and then choose Gaussian Blur, just like showing on this picture right here. When the Gaussian Blur dialog box appears, I'm going to enter a radius value of about 64 pixels to blur the edges of my shadow slightly. Again, you may need to enter a higher value if you're using a high resolution image or any other to get the effects you're looking for. Then I'm going to change the opacity of the blur for it to not to be super bright. And in order to do that, I'll just go to the top right of the Layers palette to the Option menu and just change the % of it. The next step for me would be to gather all the images we have, all the layers that we have together and put them in one. In order to do that, I will just click the layers one by one while holding Shift. And with all three layers selected, either go up to the Layer menu at the top of the screen and select Group Layers, or use the keyboard shortcut Command-G Whichever way you choose, Photoshop adds all 3 layers in one group and names them in one group folder and gives it a name group 1. Although if you want to rename that, simply double click directly on the words group 1 and rename the folder whichever way you want to. Then, in order to move the picture you were just working on to the nice background, you need to have both images open in one separate document window on your screen, and simply click anywhere inside the document containing the photo we were just working on so that its document window is selected. And then click on the layer group and the layer split and drag group into your background image document. Now that our photo is in front of the background inside the document we'll be using for our collage, we can move and resize it as needed. To do that, simply click Command D to bring up the free transform box and move the photo by clicking anywhere inside the photo except for the small target icon in the center, so don't click on that, and drag the image into position with your mouse. To resize the image, hold down Shift and drag any of the corner handles. Then if you want to create the collage just like I did, you need to repeat the same steps to add additional photos to the collage. To move one photo on top of another in your collage, click on its layer and drag it above the other photos group. Okay guys, I hope you got inspired by this tutorial, and from now on, instead of spending too much time in the store trying to find a perfect gift for your family and friends, you will just open up your Photoshop and create an awesome collage that will make everybody happy.